What's up, players? This is Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and right now we're getting ready to have a six-pack challenge match with Potsy and Tino on the big podcast show. Holla at a player.
Hey, yo.
Say I knew you, dumbass.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Potsy Fans Network brings you its tag team champions of the world.
World.
Tino Gray,
That's me.
Potsy Pochak. That's right, the Potsy and Tino show. We're coming to you remote tonight, but our theme song is always brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents. And
99.
Tino, we want to go ahead and thank Teddy Long for that awesome intro. Still one of my favorites of all time. But like always, we always start the show with something. For some reason, I can't get myself on camera right. I don't know what's going on here. Like I gotta turn it like completely the opposite direction to get on camera. But here we go.
What's up with you?
What's up with you, Tino?
Not much. I am here at the homestead, as you can see. Wife went to New York to check on her grandmother. And Mini-Me decided to stay behind. So it's just
me.
What's
up with that?
He didn't want to go. He said he'd be bored. He knew he'd be bored. I'm like, dude, I'm working. So, but I get
bored anyway.
Well, he's home with his stuff. He's got his Switch and his phone and his TV. And, when I'm not working, we hang out. We can watch a movie or whatever and chill. Sunday, I had another a Vertigo episode, scared the piss out of me. So I went and did my follow-up Monday, and I did my first physical therapy today, which was interesting. They just,
for the knee?
No, for my vertigo, because they do different. Because what happens is, because I had an inner ear
physical therapy for vertigo.
Yeah, inflammation, and what happens is there's crystals in your ear, and they sit there, and if they get, and it's pretty much the way he says it helps tell your brain which way you're going. Well, when they're loose, and what was happening is I was laying on my side, they were my ears were like, hey, we're falling. So my brain would try to upright itself.
So it's like worse swimmer's ear.
Yes. And so when I would sit up, it was before the crystal was still there. So my brain's still trying to center itself. So he's just teaching me, different head movements, neck exercises, and, following my finger with my eyes and trying to get everything in tune again, which it worked. It worked today. I hadn't felt dizzy today. So I hadn't had an episode yet. So we're going to go and see how that goes. And then this weekend, what I got it's Easter weekend. I got double shows. I got
Friday it's Easter weekend?
Yes, Easter weekend.
I had no idea.
Huh?
I had no idea.
Yep, this weekend's Easter weekend. Friday's Good Friday. I'm off. Nicole will be back Friday, and then Friday night I play at Woody's in City Market in Raleigh, North Carolina. And then Saturday I get up and I drive to Hickory. It's my monthly deal there in Hickory. Then I
so Friday you're playing Woody's?
Yep, in City Market in Raleigh.
Oh, so closer to me.
No, not this city. No, City Market's in Raleigh downtown.
Yeah. But that's still closer than some of the places you play.
Well, it's in Raleigh. Yeah, it's in town.
Yeah,
that's where I'll make it. Hey, look, he made it on time. That's Joe Lowe. And then Saturday I'll be in Hickory, and then Sunday drive back, and then we do Easter dinner with the fam.
And you're gonna have a big ham?
Yeah, we're gonna have ham. My brother-in-law doesn't like ham, so we usually get a ham, and then my father-in-law goes get a honey baked ham, and then while he's there, he gets like the little turkey breast for my brother-in-law, and then we have sides and all that stuff.
The turkey breast that they make is actually really good at honey baked ham. I used to work off of Six Forks, so of course they had the honey baked ham right there. And they have like they call it the ham jam when like at Thanksgiving and and at Easter when the honey baked ham store all of a sudden has to have like cops out there to prevent people from coming. It's fucking crazy.
I like the glaze and all the stuff they put on top of the ham though. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, my mom used to always make sure that she, like, when she would cook the ham, like she would make sure that she always had like pineapple on it and stuff.
Oh yeah, got to. Did she put brown sugar on it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's good.
She used to put like it's funny because like now like we will do something like the honey baked ham or whatever, and she'll end up. She always forgets to do like applesauce or whatever, and she's always, and like when I was little, I always liked applesauce. So now at 40 something years old, she's always like, "Oh, I forgot the applesauce. Hold on."
Chops and applesauce.
And she'll literally look for like a little cup of applesauce for me, and it's like,
That's
Mom,
awesome.
Mom, I don't need applesauce. If there's no applesauce, I don't need it, whatever.
Remember I'll eat applesauce every once in a while, but I remember when I was a kid, I don't know how it happened, but I was at a friend's house and they had we were eating like hot dogs and pork and beans, and for some reason they had applesauce too. So if you mix applesauce and pork and beans, I found that'd be pretty tasty. So I was like, oh, that's pretty good. So
Joe wants to know what I'm drinking, Tino. So I'm gonna go ahead and explain.
Yeah.
This is a local distillery's bourbon. This is Mystic Distillery. I checked it out this past weekend and had a pretty good time. They do tours twice a day on the weekends. And here's what's funny about it, Tino. You pay $21 for the tour, right?
Right.
It's like $20 plus like $1.50 or whatever for like the processing fee, like the stupid Ticketmaster charges, some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like they got to get their money somehow, right? Well, the tour gives you tasting of like everything that they've got, but it also gets you a cocktail when you're done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they sit there and they actually recommend you get the cocktail before you start because it makes their jokes on the tour funnier. And it does. Some of the jokes actually I actually chuckled at. Most of them were pretty bad, but
what they said, so these were like local comics, is that what you said?
Local comics?
Yeah.
No.
The jokes.
Oh yeah. No. It's the people that actually do the tour.
Oh.
But so get this. They have a $150 bottle of bourbon at the place, right? It's what they're known for. It's their gold medal bourbon. It's won 2 gold medals in a row, blah, 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 whatever. Well, it's $25 a shot for that bourbon. But you get a cocktail, right? So I go there with Shane, my brother-in-law, and he basically goes, well, can we just get, a drink of just that straight, as our cocktail? And they're like, yeah. So it's like they gave us a $25 shot for the $21 tour.
Wow.
Of course, then Shane had me drinking that $150 bottle the rest of the night, which another funny thing about that, he after we'd had like 2 or 3 of the drinks each at this point, because this place, Tino, is literally like 6 minutes from my house. Okay.
Dangerous.
Yeah, well, Shorty picked us up and dropped us off. So but anyway, so we go and after like 3 of the drinks, Shane just looks at the guy and goes, hey, is there any way I could just buy the bottle and you guys just keep pouring it for us? Because then you buy the bottle for $150 instead of 6 drinks.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, let me go check. He actually went to ask. And the guy, he comes back.
Of course, you said, yeah, it's a sale.
What's that?
Of course, you're going to say, yeah, it's a sale.
Well, no, they said no.
What?
They weren't able to do it. So Shane still said, well, I still want the bottle. So he still bought one. He bought that, and they make everything. They had bourbon there. And they're known for their bourbon, but they had gin. Actually, like some of the smoothest gin I've ever drank. And I say that, as someone who didn't really like Ryan Reynolds gin. But yeah, so we drank their, this is not their most expensive one. This is their blended bourbon. This one I think is either $60 or $70 a bottle. So yeah, so that's what I'm drinking tonight, Joe. It's 50%. It's actually super smooth, super nice. But I really liked how the finish of their, like the color and everything is really nice. Now, one of the things that they actually offer there that I think is super cool is you can actually, from the beginning of like the barreling, you can actually go and actually like get as many people as you want to be part of it. And you can barrel one of the barrels. And if you do, when that barrel becomes a year old, they invite you back over, and you get like the first bottle off the barrel.
Oh, that's cool.
Then the second year, after it's matured, because they mature all their bourbons for 2 years, after it's matured, you get to come back for another tasting, and then you get first choice of the bottle. Now, what's really cool about it is not only do you get all that, but you actually can decorate the barrel and everything. So there was like some barrels that had like Merry Christmas on them and different things like that. That was pretty cool. But it's kind of expensive. It's like $1,000 for the group to do it. And we were joking with the guys behind the bar, and they're both like, well, what it really is the way for the owner to get people to do the work. And, you know, we give each of you guys a bottle of the bourbon, but, you know, like, you had to barrel it and do everything and do all the work. So, yeah, we'll give you one bottle.
Wow.
You know, but what's really cool is like if it's really good and you get first choice of the barrel in year 2, you can buy as many of the barrels or as many of the bottles as you want of it. So we thought that was really cool.
How much are the bottles?
I don't know. Like, I want to say that the way that they do theirs, it's typically like anywhere from they had like the half, you know, like, so you've got your fifth, so you've got the 375 milliliter bottles.
Yeah,
those went for like $30 or $40 depending on which ones they were.
What is that? Is that like the handle? No,
that's smaller. So you,
yeah.
So I bought a fifth. Shane bought a fifth, but Shane of course bought the $150 fifth. I didn't do that. You know, because I'm totally fine drinking $12 bourbon, let alone, you know. Anyways, but anyways, so what else is going on with you, man?
Oh man, I'm trying to think. So yeah, I got the shows coming up, the Vertigo thing going.
You got something next week, don't you? We got to push the show.
Yes. So next week, folks, you guys are here every week. We want to say thank you, and we'll probably remind you towards the middle of the show and towards the end of the show. We're going to do a special episode next Thursday because Tuesday I will be in Greensboro Coliseum at watching Elton John's farewell tour, which is cool. I'm really excited about it because I've never seen Elton John live. So my father-in-law had brought these tickets. It had to have been like a year and a half ago, and then COVID hit, and then it got postponed, and it came back. Okay, this is the the makeup date for it, and it ended up being next Tuesday, the 19th. So no show next Tuesday. We'll be back next Thursday. So I'm real excited about it. Like I said, I've never been to Elton John. My father-in-law's seen him like twice. You know, my brother-in-law's seen him a couple times. So I'm excited.
I actually saw when him and Billy Joel did their concert.
Really? What?
Yeah,
probably in New York?
No, they did one here.
Was it here? I saw Billy Joel when he was. I saw Billy Joel last time he was here. He was at PNC, and Gavin McGraw had opened for him.
Yeah, so I want to say I think it was the Wolfpack Stadium right there. What is it, Keenan? No, Keenan's Carolina, right?
Yeah.
So whatever that stadium is called, right there, right next to the hockey arena.
I can't think of it.
You know, another funny thing about Elton John.
What's that?
You know, I don't know. Did you ever watch the movie?
Yes.
Okay. So you know, but most people might not, that obviously his real name isn't Elton.
Yeah.
And one of the guys in the band's name was Elton, and he decided to just randomly call himself Elton, and the other guy was like, but that's my name. Like, is it though? And then of course another thing about Elton John is he actually can't read sheet music. Yeah, he can hear it and play it, but he can't read it.
I can't read. I can't either.
Really, you can't read sheet music?
I use chords, so I can't read sheet music, and I can't read tabs. I use chords. So like the CD B, that's how I learn a song.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There was one other thing I was going to say about Elton John. Oh, the farewell tour. You know when he's going to end that?
When?
Huh?
No, when he dies.
Well, he doesn't know either. That's the whole, like, he basically said he's just gonna keep playing, but call every concert from now on his farewell tour.
Wow, that's awesome.
I mean, dude gets what, $300 a ticket because of it?
Yeah, I don't know. My father-in-law paid for it, but You were talking about Ticketmaster, and that reminds me. So, one of my favorite and my daughter's favorite comics, and we watch him together all the time, is Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's coming to PNC, and so I saw it early enough, and like, okay, you get a ticket for $59, right? So I get myself, Nicole, and Haley one now. And so it ended up being for 3 tickets at $59 each. Why, after all the fees and taxes, what's it close to $300?
Wait, what?
Yes. I don't know.
Thanks for inviting me, by the way.
It was for Haley's birthday. It's like $59. I know you like
Kevin. What? Haley invited me to her 21st birthday party.
Yeah, but this is her birthday present, and I saw it, and I didn't think you like Kevin Hart. I didn't think
Seriously?
you like. Yeah, I didn't think you like Kevin.
Speaking of comedy, we have to go ahead and lower our heads. Gilbert Godfrey.
That was my next thing I was going to say. Yeah, I couldn't believe that when I saw that. I'm like, are you serious?
Dude, he literally is one of the reasons why I liked staying up super late, because of USA Up All Night.
Yep.
When he was on it instead of Rhonda Shear. You know, it was just
so one of my favorite, like that voice that voice though, and it is iconic. It's unmistakable. You know who it is.
I want to do the impression of it, but I just can't right now. You know, like it hurts.
Yeah, that one hurt.
Like, I mean, you know, because like probably my second favorite Disney film is Aladdin.
There you go, mine too. That's about to say. Yep.
You know, my favorite is Lilo and Stitch, and because, you know, my old dog Landis actually looked like a pug version of Stitch. And I told you a long time ago that I always wanted to like dye her blue for Halloween so that I could just say that she was Stitch, right?
I think you told me that once. My 2 favorite are Aladdin and Mary Poppins, believe it or not.
It doesn't surprise me with Mary Poppins. I think Chris Edge's favorite is Mary Poppins. Mm-hmm. Not the new one, but the original.
The original, Julie Andrews.
Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke.
Yep.
So Eric, by the way, and I, you know, are you good? Have you said everything going on with you?
Yeah, I think I got everything done with me. I was going to ask you how I've been following you on Facebook with your meta debacle. So I've been Sean.
A staple of the 90s for sure. The stand-up, Aladdin, commercials, and more. Yep. Gilbert Godfrey is just one of those guys that like he was awesome, and he was awesome for like all the wrong reasons until he did a Disney film. You know, like like everybody,
raunchy,
like everybody. So yeah. The update on the Meta situation. Still don't have my Instagram account back. Now, 2 people that I know that are actual influencers have also been caught with it. So they have now lost their accounts, and Meta is still doing nothing. I sent something new today that actually gave me a different site to go to and different thing to try to get them to give me something to get in, and they let me change the password. But then they didn't give me the secondary code. So I had to then send them something else saying, hey, now that you let me change the password, at least let me have get the secondary code back. Because it kept asking me for a WhatsApp. And I'm like, WhatsApp? Like, I just don't know.
WhatsApp? Sounds familiar.
I mean, it's another social media site. It's just why is Facebook asking me to use another social media site?
Because they're probably on that too.
Well, they probably do, but just let me use Facebook. My fucking picture is on it. You know, like fuck. But anyway, the fact that a buddy of mine with 50,000 Instagram subscribers got hit with this thing, and then another guy calls me up today and says that he got hit with it, and it's like both like the first one called me up and he goes, Rob, you know your Instagram got hacked, right? And I'm like, yeah, I've been posting about it for a week now. You know, like, and then I'm like, oh fuck, yours didn't get hit too, did it? And he goes, yeah, they just got it. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking like this guy's got over 200,000 YouTube subscribers. So luckily, you know, it's not attached to that, but shit, you know, he's an actual influencer. He makes money off of this stuff. So like now he's losing revenue. then another guy calls me up today and he goes, what the fuck, Rob? I just helped you out trying to get your account back, and then you hacked mine. And I'm like, God, I hope you're not being serious that you actually think that I hacked your account. And he's like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, like, I do this, and this, and see if you can get your account back, because these fuckers are like, are fucking around with a ton of shit and not doing anything about it. It's fucking insane. Like,
what?
And
why?
What?
Why? I don't understand what the problem is.
So I mean, they are literally just taking accounts from people, and it's just get like, so my dad's aunt. Okay, my dad is 74. Okay, his aunt messaged me and said, "Yeah, I can help you." And I said, "Whatever you do, don't do that. Whatever it's asking for, don't do it." And so she messages me again. She's like, "So it's not you?" And I'm like, "No, this is a scam. Don't do it." I said, "Block it, send a report in, blah, blah, blah." And she goes, I'm really old. I don't know how to do any of that. So I sent her pictures of exactly what to do to report the account. Dude, there has to be like 200 people at this point that have reported the account as fraudulent, and they still aren't doing anything.
I remember, what was it, last week, when you had changed it, and like 5 minutes later, I text you. I'm like, "Did you send this?" I took a screenshot. "Did you send this?" You were like, "Nope."
Yeah, nope. Oh man, and it's been like that all week. So I finally started a new one. It's now Rob Potsy Podcheck, so it now matches up with my TikTok. And I don't know, at this point I might just change everything to that way every single thing is exactly the same. But you know, that is what it is. Like, if I actually turned it into the Internet Crime Division.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually got a .gov website, so I have turned them into that at this point and said, like I'm going to do everything I can to get whoever it is, fucked up from it. Like, I even, anytime that someone's told me that theirs has been hacked, I just sit there and send the same message to the hacked account, asking them if they can help me get my account back. But no, I don't know if you saw my post earlier today, Tino. I finished writing the latest junior high horrors.
Yes, I did see that.
And I'm probably gonna be made fun of a little bit for this, but I teared up at the end of it.
Why?
Well, because I wrote like the perfect ending to the issue, and it's sad. It's really sad.
Oh.
Now, it does, however, leave a spot for a really, really cool spinoff. But it's sad. Like, like we've talked about it multiple times on the show that junior high horrors at this point is almost 5 years old. Like,
And I believe it.
And I've been busting my ass on this series for like 5 years. Eric, the artist, actually just sent me like some of the layouts for the new issue. Nice. He literally did like 9 layouts today. But it's remember, I said last week that as a writer you can't break rules. So I don't break any rules. But in areas where I never established rules, I definitely use it to my advantage in this story. And one of the pictures that I posted today. So those who don't know me probably don't know that one of my favorite horror films isn't even really a horror film. It's a really bad spoof of a horror film.
Stupid, so stupid.
And it's called Jason X. Okay, so and as most people who've read junior high horrors know, that JV is actually based upon one of the characters. So I designed a new character today named JVX.
JVX,
who basically looks like a version of the Super Jason from Jason X. So his mask has been like converted into a cool mask and everything. it's because last week I probably mentioned it that a lot of the stuff going on in the new book is because I want to really, like I told Eric, he's gonna love the fact of how much freedom I gave him to like create and design and stuff like that. But he's absolutely gonna hate some of these pages that he has to draw because they're just gonna be like crazy shit. Like imagine if like Mikey was like a Power Ranger and someone else was like a Transformer. Yeah, and all different and they're all different superheroes in it. So Joe, you're absolutely right. Jason X was a fun movie. And in fact, when and I'm going to do some name dropping here. When I was sitting on a panel with Rob Mello, who was in Happy Death Day as the bad guy in that film, we got the whole panel was based on humor and horror at the same time. And one of the questions that got asked was like, is there anything really memorable that came from these horror movies that are also funny? And I just basically said, Rob, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to take this question out. Here's a guy famous who's in movies and stuff, and I'm sitting there saying, can I go first on this question? And he's like, sure, you got this, man. And I basically just go, one of my favorite lines from a horror movie ever came from Jason X. Do you know what it is, Tino?
No.
It's when the teacher sits there and notices that Jason goes and grabs his machete off the table, and he just goes, "It's okay, guys. He just wants his machete back." Literally, that's the line. So yeah, I absolutely love Jason X. Joe, as you probably know, Freddy Krueger himself, Robert Englund, has been announced for Scarefest. So I hope in the next couple weeks I can announce some things about Scarefest weekend 2021 or 22, yeah. That I can announce some things about Scarefest 2022. By the way, folks, if you're in the chat, don't be shy to say hi. We always like when people join in the conversations.
Buy our shit.
And Tino likes when you buy our shit. Joe actually has bought my shit, so I want to thank him there. Yes, they played the line over and over in the trailer, and you got the nipple part. Yes, so Sean, you're absolutely right. The nipple part with the alien, or the android, I'm sorry, where the guy who basically created the android has to sit there because he wants her to be more human. He puts nipples on her. So
it's been a while since I've seen that movie. I forgot about that.
Dude, interestingly enough, so if you're an Arrowverse fan,
yes,
I believe Talia al Ghul was actually in that movie because I believe it's a young lady by the name of Lexa Doig, and she was actually one of the main characters. I think she was actually the one that ends up having to, send Jason off into space after, at the end of the film.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that now.
Yeah. In fact, there's quite a few characters that when you see them, you're like, son of a bitch, I've seen these people places. And, oftentimes it's because when you're in a horror film early on in your career, you either make the turn to porn or you make the turn to, try to get in a real film, like Paul Rudd.
So speaking of this past weekend, I think it's probably Saturday. Might have been.
Did you go see Morbius?
No, I didn't watch Morbius, but I watched the Scream remake prequel. I forgot what they were calling it.
No, it's not a prequel or anything.
In the movie, that's what they called it. They were like, it's yeah. And so it was like, yeah, you take some of the older characters and you put in new characters new to us. I actually liked the movie though. I thought it was good.
The only thing that was your first Jason film. Interestingly enough, it was the last one with Kane Hodder. And my first Jason film that I actually saw was his first, Friday the 13th, Part 7. Still my favorite, by the way, because it introduced the girl that had telekinetic powers, and she lifted like a gas can and set it on fire and threw it at him like using her mind powers, like Jean Grey. But anyways, what was I saying? The the Scream. The only thing that really upset me about it is that they did the same thing they always do. There's 2 killers. Yeah. Sorry if I just ruined it for everybody. It's on Paramount Plus.
It's been out a while. If you hadn't seen it by now, what have you been doing with your life?
They did announce another one already, though.
What, Scream?
Yeah, they're coming out with a new one next year now.
Oh,
so everybody can check that out. Hey, I also did a redesign of Frederick the Scaredy Cat.
Wolverine looking, isn't he?
I actually used Wolverine, like, specifically. I said I want him to be kind of like Wolverine, except if you notice, he actually looks more like a werewolf, although still a cat, like with the skinny hindquarters and everything, and then, you know, like the broad shoulders. And again, all because there's something that happens in the issue that allows for us to play with the way the characters look and everything, especially if it's going to be the last specific junior high horrors book, at least for a while. So did I announce that not only, you know, that one's coming out in July, but did I announce the deluxe?
Not issue? That I remember.
So those who have been with junior high horror since the very first issue know that the first issue originally was drawn by somebody other than Eric. And then Eric came on the book with 7 days to go before the second issue had to be into the printer, and completely drew the second issue in 7 days and got it to the printer on time, so that we never once missed a deadline on the book. And still to this day have not missed a deadline, by the way. Well, when we decided that we were going to make the entire series dyslexia friendly, you know, one of the things that we contemplated was whether or not we were just going to leave the book the way that it originally was done, or whether or not we were actually going to try to redo that first issue so that everything that came out in the collected edition.
Put water in it. Don't dump it. Put more water in it. Sorry. That making noise. I was like, no, dump it.
Anyways, so we always thought that one of the things that we might want to do is see if Eric wanted to actually redraw the entire first issue, so that anybody who currently owns number 1, it's not going to be what we actually count as the first issue going forward, because now obviously we're going to have the dyslexia friendly. And we had Eric draw it, as you know, as we were trying to get the actual like trade to come out.
It amazes me. Has anybody else jumped on that dyslexia friendly thing that you know of? It just amuses me that nobody thought of that before.
So there's a couple things there, and one of the main thing that a lot of people realize is that, like, or don't realize, is that comic books are kind of dyslexia friendly anyway. But the font helps it. And the reason why I say that is because comic books are meant to be read left to right, top to bottom, right?
Yes.
So your eyes are drawn to follow.
Yes.
So it's more like, even if you struggle with reading the words, you can kind of get what the story is going to be about regardless.
Right.
Whereas with, like, you know, novels or whatever, it's a little more difficult. So it's not nearly as easy to sit there and have those things come up.
Because I tell people, like,
and they're amazed by it.
Yeah, and they're like, "Why is nobody thought?" I'm like, I don't know how he figured it out. He just did.
Well, and remember, I mean, I was on ABC because of it. You know, so like ABC thought it was cool, and ABC owns Marvel, right? So like, think about that. Disney owns all of it. So knowing that I was on their news programming, sitting there talking about what I do to make comics different and more inclusive, and you know, like they sit there and just look at it and go, yeah, let him do it. It's difficult though, because like with the dyslexia friendly fonts, like they look weird. They're legible by anybody. Like anybody can pick the comic up and read it and see that they can still read it. The difference though is that it kind of fits the quirkiness of the comic. You know, so actually Rob Nico, one of the artists that I work with, he drew Ex Liefelds, was actually wondering whether or not he should actually try to create a font that would utilize the same types of things as the dyslexia friendly font, but be a font that was more in tune with what's the norm. So look more like regular comic book font,
Okay.
but yet, sorry, I get the hiccups all the time.
Still have the weighted letters,
the weighted letters and everything else that go with it. And by the way, folks, if you haven't actually seen the video from ADC, it actually explains the entire way the process works, and what makes the dyslexia friendly fonts the way that they are. I may repost that at some point.
Sidebar. Just because I thought about you the other night, and I was watching it at 2 a.m. I didn't know if you were gonna be asleep or not. So I finally got around to watching the cartoon version of The Boys, and they were like 15-minute shorts. The first one was the baby. I liked the one where the kids went back and killed the parents, but the
turd,
that one stood out most of all. That was her really.
You know who wrote that one, right? Aquafina.
Yeah,
she wrote it and acted in it. Yeah, that one was hers. Yeah, I used to work in a library, and kids who struggle to go from picture books to chapters, I tell them to start with comics. Yeah, no, absolutely, Sean. That's.
Oh, really?
And Tino, the number one reason why I thought it was a good idea to try the dyslexia friendly fonts with junior high horror is obviously it's a kid friendly book, so it makes it something that kids can pick up and check out, and it works pretty well there. But the other reason behind it was because up to 20% of all people actually suffer from dyslexia. So if you were to walk into a comic book store, well, first of all, if you were dyslexic, what would make you think I should walk into a comic book store?
Nothing.
No, you're probably like frightened to even think about walking in the door. And comics is all about how do you break the walls, right? How do you get outside those four walls of either being in a comic book shop or being at a comic convention or whatever the case might be, which, junior high horrors is allows me to go to horror conventions, allows me to do comic book signings. But in the four walls of comic stores, what was the one thing that I could try to do to make new people walk into a comic book store for the first time? And that's why the idea to me is one of those things that just made a lot of sense in it.
That's awesome.
And Scarlett Johansson says in the Avengers films, I got a lot of red in my ledger, so I gotta make up for some of it. But yeah, so that's mainly and I'm glad you asked about it, because we don't talk about it a lot, and none of my other comics really utilize that or anything, and the reason why is because it doesn't really fit with the themes. But if I ever do another all ages book, I probably would do that again, because it just makes sense to try to do anything I can to help younger people read the book. Why not, right? Yep. To your first question about that, though, of other things using it, yeah, in fact, the logo I designed for the dyslexia friendly thing is now being used by a couple different regular book writers, and they actually put it on their books so that way when it comes up, when their book comes out, they're using the fonts inside the books and just regular books, and it actually says it on the books now.
That is awesome.
Yes,
something for that.
Well, I licensed that for free.
Oh, okay.
So I own the copyright on the and the trademark on the logo, but I allow them to use that logo if they're going to use that font in their books, so that way they can do that. And like anybody out there, if you're a writer that wants to use the Open Dyslexic font, I don't own the font, but I do own that logo, and it just says dyslexia friendly font, or dyslexia friendly on the logo, and I mean anybody can use it. They just have to ask.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's because like apparently dyslexic folks actually have an easier time reading orange, or like if it's on an orange background or on a yellow background than they do on other things. So like I did a lot of research on it, and again, I did it because one, I wanted my books to stand out, obviously, but two, like that's a fifth of the population that has a hard time reading.
So
give them something that helps them with it. And I don't know, I think that it helps. A couple other things that I'll go ahead and mention just because I like to talk about what's coming up. April 23rd and 24th, which isn't this weekend, but it's next weekend. I will be at Fayetteville Comic-Con. So anybody in Fayetteville, North Carolina, I will have four exclusive prints that I'm doing. Joe knows all about them. He follows me on Twitter. But 4 exclusive prints, all with the Fayetteville Comic-Con logo. These will not be readily available after that. If I do have any left over, you can contact me if you want them. It's my my Wolverine piece that I did. It's the Alien versus Predator piece that I did in the neon stuff. They shipped today, so I should actually have them so I can show them off next Thursday before I actually go to Fayetteville. It's going to be my John Wick piece that I did, Tino.
Oh yeah.
And then there's going to be one other piece that is a collaboration. It's a black and white version of the Ninja Turtles that I did with Troy Dungara, the artist of Mandalorian. And then on top of those 4 prints that I've got, I also designed the Kibby Award, which a lot of people might not know. One of the biggest hearted people that we knew before COVID was a thing was Charles Kibby. Guy looked like Abraham from The Walking Dead. So anybody that had ever been to a comic book convention or a tattoo convention in North Carolina, South Carolina, all the way out to like Tennessee, knew this guy. And when he passed, because he was like the biggest volunteer at every comic book convention ever, I came up with the idea and I mentioned it in a group of different comic book conventions. And I said, you guys really ought to consider doing an award called the Kibby Award for your best volunteer of your show. And Fayetteville Comic-Con was the first one that jumped on board with the idea of doing it. And they're now doing it for the 3rd show in a row. And I don't know why Keith asks me to be part of it, but every time, like he asked me to come up on stage, say a couple good words about everything. Yeah, but I mean, like anybody who even thought, like Kibby was a great person could have had that idea.
So you said you were designing the award. So what does that mean? Is it like a trophy or?
So it's going to be a print. It's on extra thick cardstock. It's anybody who saw me or my TikTok or any of my socials probably saw a Thor piece I was working on. Used the neon colors and everything else, but it's going to be holographic. So it's going to have like the prismatic hologram stuff on it. And the winner of the award is going to get a framed version of that print. And it is a one of a kind print. I have not made any others.
That's awesome, dude.
So yeah, it was, and I would show the artwork, but I don't think I've got, actually, no, that's not true. I think I do have some of it. Hold on. I think I got it somewhere, but and anybody, this is Kibby actually. That was when I drew him.
Oh,
so I just opened up the phone and there he is. But hold on a second. I got it here, I think. Yeah. So it's a one of a kind of this.
Oh yeah.
And then, like I said, it's going to be on prismatic paper, so it's going to have like that shattered hologram look to it. But it's a one of a kind. I'm not doing any others. I'll sign it before I frame it, but I'm going to frame it myself and everything for them. And then of course, anybody who hasn't heard Fayetteville Comic-Con, because we are a pro wrestling show, we'll have guys like Carlito, Swoggle, and Miss Tessmacher. Miss Brooke Tessmacher will be there. So and apparently my little table is going to be somewhere over by the wrestlers this time. So I will probably need to be wearing sunglasses.
Why?
So I don't oogle.
What? Shut up. What? Mr. Fayetteville Comic-Con.
23rd and 24th, Saturday, Sunday of April. And then my current my current con schedule is Fayetteville Comic Con. Then after that, I have free comic book day at Dragon's Lair in Fayetteville, North Carolina as well. After I have that, I have Carolina Fear Fest the last weekend of May. Then the weekend of the 24th of June.
I never understood why they did Fear Fest in May instead of October.
Well, there's actually a big reason why. Because everyone else tries to do their horror conventions in October.
Yeah, makes sense. I can see it.
Yeah, and actually, as Joe can tell you if he's still in the audience out there, Scarefest in Kentucky is like the weekend of the 23rd and 24th of October, and I might be there again with maybe some exclusive stuff for that show too.
Cool.
So yeah, and like I said, Robert Englund has actually been announced for that show. And then I should find out over the next couple days whether or not I have a hotel in San Diego for San Diego Comic-Con, but the plan still is to go to San Diego this year. So that, sir, besides these crazy late shifts at my job, is what's up with me.
Cool. Well, let's get into it.
We got any other actual news we need to talk about? You know, last week we talked about the slap heard around the world. I don't think so, right?
No, the biggest news,
pretty much.
The biggest news I got is wrestling related, and it does affect NXT this evening.
So let's go ahead and start with last week. Anything you really want to talk about Dynamite? FTR versus the Bucks.
Good match.
Great match.
No,
Still have the same problem they always do. Too many fucking finishers.
Yeah. Not too much I want to say about that.
Is Chris Barrett not in the audience?
No, I don't know where he is.
I don't know. It looks like someone's not saying anything out there. Stranger Things season 4 trailer. Yes. Tino, did you watch it?
No, I'm sure my son has because he's a big Stranger Things.
And let me just say this. Before I saw this trailer, I finished the Junior High Horror's Strangest Thingies Forever book. And who knows, maybe I predicted the future.
Oh, no.
Maybe I predicted the future. No, I didn't even go to Russia in my book. But yes, Sean is absolutely right. The Stranger Things season 4 trailer. That trailer looks freaking awesome. I'm
going to watch it when I get off of here.
And each of the episodes this season, now they've already said they're breaking it off into 2 halves. You got May 27th is part 1. You got July 1st is part 2. Yeah. July is also Junior High Horror Strangest Thingies Forever comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Not on purpose. So double negative purpose. But dude, it looks sick.
I'm gonna check it out.
It looks sick. So and yes, Robert Englund was in the trailer. And there's a character that is based after Robert Englund in Junior High Horror's Strangest Thingies Forever.
They are claiming it's the Game of Thrones season.
Yes, they're claiming it's their Game of Thrones season because every episode is over an hour.
Oh.
So
okay.
It's not only the biggest season they've ever done because they've already said they're doing twice as many episodes, but they actually are making them longer episodes.
Is this the last season? They're not making any more or something?
I think they said that. They may have said there's one more season, but they may have said it's the final season.
Yeah, okay.
Which would be disappointing. Yeah, Eric even went on Twitter and showed those 9 pages of Junior High Horrors that he's working on. He knows he can't show them all because I'm telling you, those last 10 pages are the craziest shit I've ever written, and the last couple pages, man, they're tear jerkers if you're a fan of the book. Like I mean, you're gonna fucking cry.
Yeah, okay.
Fucking cry, man. So all right, so Dynamite. We also got we also got what, Dante Martin, Chris Jericho, and Jake Hager versus Eddie Kingston and Proud and Powerful.
No, I think they came out and jumped them.
Oh, right, they did.
And then I think Wednesday, was it Bryan Danielson took on somebody? Who did he take on?
Are you talking about Trent Beretta? No.
Because I know Friday, that match with
well, hold on. We'll get there.
Okay. That match.
Because the Bryan Danielson match was also Friday.
Was it Friday?
It was.
I don't think they were back in the same night.
And dude, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you.
You're right, because Regal was on commentary with Bryan Danielson. How come he comes out with Bryan Danielson, but he won't come out with Moxley? You notice that?
Moxley don't need it. And he's not gonna walk through the crowd.
That's true too, yeah.
You know, like right now, the BCC is the new NWO.
And they're badass.
And they are badass. Like, and it's they can out wrestle you with Danielson, and they can out fight you with Moxley, and then they can out slap the shit out of you with fucking William Regal.
I don't know though. That match with Moxley and Wheeler, that was Wheeler Yuta. That was a slap fest. God bless.
So all right, let's go ahead and start at the beginning of that episode. I don't even want to talk about Dynamite because for the first time that I can recall,
it sucked.
Well, I'm not going to say it sucked. I mean, it had an amazing main event between FTR and the Young Bucks. Yeah. But I am going to say that for the first time since the CM Punk debut at Rampage, that Rampage was the #1 show that happened all week. And that doesn't include WrestleMania, although I would say that WrestleMania Night 2 shit the bed. It shit the bed so hard that they had to bring out Stone Cold Steve Austin again to drop stunners on everybody. Now, the Pat McAfee moment, we talked about it last week, had me laughing my ass off. But so anyway, did you see Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show talk about it the next day? Dude, he starts by going, just want to let everybody know I'm hungover. And they're like, really, Pat? Well, what happened? And he goes,
you told that. I think you told that story last week.
I don't think I did, but no, because I showed the picture of him sitting there pouring the beer. But no. He went on the show and he was like, I had 5 beers, and all the guys go, what? And then he said, I had 10 beers, what? Maybe 15 beers, what? 20 beers, I don't know. 25 beers, and he's like, probably 30 beers then. But yeah, he's talking about his stunner and how they didn't give him any advance notice that Steve Austin was going to come down to the ring and do that whole segment. Like, he had no idea.
And you said he didn't know what was going to go on with McMahon either. He just kind of went with it.
Yeah, everything after the Austin Theory match was just let McMahon do what he's going to do to you. Yeah. But anyway, let's get back to Rampage. Rampage started with Bryan Danielson and Trent Beretta in a banger of an actual wrestling match. And this match, okay, everybody here knows that I, from time to time, and I don't get to listen to it as often as I used to because I don't drive to work anymore, but everybody knows that I like Busted Open, right? Well, Busted Open has this one phrase that they constantly say, and that's what your job is to do is to be over or get over, right? Go over or get over. And in this situation, Danielson went over. He won the match. But Trent Beretta showed that he is still one of the top wrestlers in the world.
Yes.
The next stuff that happened, QT Marshall was on it. He went up against somebody, whatever. Nobody cares. Fuck it.
Marina Shafir came out and talked some shit. Well, she didn't come out. They did a little bet.
Are they gonna have her go up against Serena Deeb? Because that's what I kind of think that one's leading to.
No. She's coming after that bitch. She's coming after Carhill. She's gonna be number 30 for Carhill for that. She's wrestling for the TBS title.
You know what I bet? You know what I bet's gonna happen there? Roddy Strong's contract's going to run out, and Marina Shafir may actually beat Jade Cargill when Roddy Strong comes out and beats up Mark Strong, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
like I expect that to happen there. But then we got the main event,
dude.
We got Wheeler Yuta, who by the end of the match was Wheeler Yuta, and we got Jon Moxley in. I mean,
that was a hard hitting match, dude. Everything Mox gave him, he gave back.
Now, interestingly enough, when they showed the tail of the tape and everything, Wheeler Yuta was like, I want to say that they say that he's like 30-28 in his time in AEW, but he's won like 19 of his last 22 matches. Like, so he went from being like way under 500 to like, woo, you are one of the top guys in the entire business. Like instantly. And of course, now he's actually a Ring of Honor champion because he's the Ring of Honor, what do they call it?
The pure
champion. Yeah. Yeah, the championship that they brought back after Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness.
That's what happened on Dynamite. The champion, already Gresham was there, and on the screen, who was it? That was was
it Joe?
No, it was Jay, and he had fucking Sanjay Dutt, I think it was up there with him or something.
Because they stole the belt, didn't they?
Yeah.
Why is it that everybody in AEW and Ring of Honor stealing
belts? Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. Back to the Moxley and Wheeler Yuta. That match, he gave just, and the kickouts. He kicked out of what, 2-3 paradigm shifts,
dude. At the end of that fight, Moxley kept hitting him in the face, and TNT kept blurting out Wheeler Yuta's face, like bukkake style, like Japanese porn, like it was crazy, like, and it's because he had so much blood coming out of him that like I thought he was going to pass out by the end, kind of like Dustin Rhodes when he went up against Cody in their first match at All In.
Did you see the kick when you see the Bryan Danielson kicks when he grabbed Moxley's arms? He was just stomping on his head, stomping on his face. I'm like, that looked snug. It looked like he was pulling back. That looked like he was hitting him, you know. And I think Moxley likes working snug like that. But I'm like, damn,
dude. Well, I think Yuta. I think Yuta basically sat there and said, "I want to prove I'm a tough guy." And you know what feel I got from that match was the same thing I got when Randy Orton went up against Mick Foley at Backlash 2004, and it was for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, and here's the best part of this match as a pro wrestling fan. I thought Yuta was going to win.
Yep.
There were some moments where I was like, that kid is not going to stop until he gets a 3 count on Jon Moxley.
Yep.
And I hope that we get another match between these two because Yuta actually said in an interview that this is now the second time he's faced Jon Moxley, and the first time he can't even call it a match. It was more like a massacre. This time it looked like a massacre, but he actually brought it. And next time he's got to win, right?
Yeah.
Now, granted,
they did the whole thing. He earned the respect. So does this mean he's in the club now? Because at the end, you Moxley's like now the hard work begins. He kind of shook his and the whole thing. What was up with Regal? He kept like this. He kept going in like.
Well, I liked how Regal looked like he was going to slap him, and then he just finally just went and put the hand out to get the handshake. Because you knew that so it's storytelling. Because that's that moment where Regal is absolutely trying to tell the story of, I don't want to like this kid, but now I fucking respect him.
Yeah.
And I respect him because he went toe-to-toe.
Oh, God.
Should have never been in this match with Jon Moxley.
I like the Moxley sell. Did you see when that match was over and Moxley went to the corner and he was kind of like, the fuck was that? And just the look on his face, he just like, the fuck was that? You know, he was in shock. He was, you know.
That he got the handshake?
No,
well,
no, he was in shock after the match. After he got the pinfall, he went to the corner and he was looking like, what the fuck was I just in? You know what I mean? Sorry, Nikki is messaging me saying that
my old Instagram account is now trying to get her to give them her Instagram account.
So yeah.
But so I thought, and this is where that storytelling is, because you're sitting there talking about how like Regal just kept doing this.
Yes.
You know, and I thought that there was a moment there where he was just gonna sick Bryan Danielson on him.
I did too.
And then he probably looked at Bryan Danielson's white T-shirt and said, "Nope, give him the handshake instead, because otherwise it's just gonna be all bloody." No, I'm kidding. No, Wheeler Yuta finally, I mean, he proved it, man. And the unfortunate thing about it is that there's nowhere for the kid to go except the TNT championship. He's not going to win a world championship in AEW. Not anytime soon.
Yeah.
You know, like somewhere someone was sitting there saying like imagine a world where you have Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. And then, of course, you know, like the other person sitting there going, yeah, okay, I can imagine that world championship, right? No. Imagine they're not even ranked in the top 5 of the tag team division. What the fuck? Right?
Yeah, that's not right.
I mean, they will be. Don't get me wrong. Like they're probably gonna go like 12-0, win the tag team championships.
Yeah.
You know, and then we'll have to see what happens. And that's what's crazy about it, is the reason why I like the idea of Danielson and Moxley as an actual tag team, and as they get closer and closer together and really meld with the two different styles, they're going to get to go up against FTR. They're going to get to go up against the Young Bucks. They're going to get to go up against Red Dragon. They're going to get to go up against the Best Friends. They're going to get, you know, like you're like, I could just keep going on with fucking with fucking tag teams. Then you look at WWE and you sit there and you go, man, RK Bro is awesome. The Usos are awesome. Nobody else is awesome. We don't have any other tag teams.
Yeah, Street Profits.
We got Street Profits. You're right. I'm sorry. We got Street Profits.
And yeah, then you're about right, because New Day,
Mysterios.
No.
The New Day, like Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. I'm okay with that.
I was digging Shinsuke and Boogs.
I'm okay with Shinsuke going against Roman Reigns. I mean, I know he's just cannon fodder and gonna get eaten like a big old sandwich. But
with Drew again, come on.
What's that?
The rumor is they're gonna go with Drew again.
So there's another rumor, and I'll talk about it when we get to Monday Night Raw. But it's a pretty crazy rumor that seems like it's for real right now.
Okay.
Let me ask you something about AEW, Tino. Okay, Cody Rhodes came back and got one of the premier matches at WrestleMania, right? Now, if Kenny Omega had been that guy, would he have been able to walk in and face Seth Rollins in his first match at WrestleMania?
No.
Who would he have gone up against?
Kenny?
Yeah. First match in WWE because he's never, well, besides being enhancement talent, he's never been in WWE. So who would have been his first match there?
I would say I would give him Sammy or even Kevin.
Well, except
maybe not Kevin.
Except you can't give him Kevin because Kevin was your main event.
And Sammy was in it too. So
Sammy had a premier match.
God, who would you give him?
That's just it. Here's the thing. And I'm saying instead of Cody, would he have gotten Seth? The answer is no.
No.
And the reason why is because he was never a WWE guy.
Exactly.
He would have had to, would he get there?
Yes.
I think by the time Money in the Bank rolled around, Kenny Omega be climbing up that ladder and possibly taking it home. But there's no way in hell that he would have gotten that he would have walked in and won a big match like that. Now, Young Bucks, would they have walked in and been able to beat an RK Bro or the Usos? Would they have beaten the Street Profits? Maybe the Street Profits.
They'd give him the New Day.
They would have given him the New Day, and they would have jobbed the New Day to him. Unfortunately, but just think about that. Like Cody, all these people online are talking about how Vince elevated Cody, right? Because when Cody left, Cody was Stardust. Cody was curtain jerking on Main Event. Not the Main Event, but on Main Event.
Yep.
Right? Now he's a superstar. He also looks like he put 25 pounds on. So let's talk about. There's nothing really to talk about SmackDown other than Shinsuke Nakamura now being the number one contender. Ronda Rousey, like, I don't care.
And she bullied her way into a rematch.
Liv Morgan did beat Sasha Banks. That was, I mean, it was with a schoolgirl.
I'm okay with the girl. I'm okay with her giving a schoolgirl. It's one of the guys who's the schoolgirls.
That's true. That's true.
So Monday Night Raw.
Sean, so, yeah. I hope you are subscribed to the show and join us. By the way, now it's also because of his family background too.
And that too. I'm sure Big
Cody Rhodes. I do think that's got something to do with it, but I think it's because the WWE now respects Dusty Rhodes more than they ever did while he was alive.
Yeah,
especially for what he did to help Triple H build NXT.
Yes.
Like let's not take that credit away from him. But so on Monday Night Raw, so last night and even last week, Cody came out the first moment. Cody sits there, gives the welcome back speech, everything else last week. And dude, I'm gonna tell you, that speech from him
last week,
yeah.
Yeah, that got me.
I know it got you because I remember going over to your house for your birthday and you showing me that your wife got you the Dusty Rhodes DVD.
It's my all-time favorite wrestler.
And the speech that he gave was all about how in Dusty's bedroom, he had a picture.
Yep.
And it was him holding up the WWF championship. I guess the WWF champ. Maybe.
Yeah.
What's the WWF? No, it was the WWF.
There's two W's, yeah. WWF, yeah.
It was right before Hogan, so you're right. It was WWF. And he was holding up the belt, and Cody one time when he was a kid walked in and said, "Dad, you never told me you won that championship."
No, he said, "You never told me you were a champ like Hulk Hogan."
Right. And of course, Dusty basically said, "Son, I got to tell you that because of the rules, I may have won the match, but I didn't win the championship."
Wasn't that Superstar Billy Graham that he wrestled for that?
It was either him or the Iron Sheik.
I think it was Superstar because Hogan beat Iron Sheik for it, so I think it was Superstar.
Might have been Backlund. I don't know. Like It was around that time, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, that whole speech, like everything they're doing with Cody right now, like I bet Cody's allowed to say what he wants.
Oh yeah.
Like, I bet his contract gave him that, right? But
I don't know because he got corrected 3 times last night by The Miz in the ring. He said, "I want to get the world championship belt." And Miz like, it's a title, not a belt. A belt holds up your pants. And then he says, "I came here for wrestlers and superstars." So he's saying all kinds of. So I don't know if he's coming in.
No. He's doing that because I think they're taking notice. And here's what it's doing different, Tino. What audience is now cheering him that wasn't cheering him before?
What, that 18 to 40, whatever that graphic they're looking for?
The ones that sat there and were booing him in AEW are looking at him as an AEW product in WWE right now, and they're cheering him.
But why?
What do you mean, why?
Why boo him? Why boo him in AEW and cheer him now that he's in WWE?
It's difficult to explain, but I'll try. Cody Rhodes fell out with the AEW brass and fans because he wasn't what he was when he left WWE anymore. Okay. When he left WWE, and Corey Graves used the line, but it was actually Cody Rhodes who said it in a promo. He was undesirable. He was Stardust. He was a curtain jerker.
Mm-hmm.
He literally lost the Money in the Bank match to Damian Sandow, who got fired.
Yep.
When everybody knew it was supposed to be Cody. Like, Cody got shit on so many times. Cody's mustache, dashing Cody Rhodes, the fucking bags over people's heads in the audience. And he got over with each of those stupid gimmicks.
He had that mask, too, one time?
Well, he broke his nose. But that's when he started putting the masks on, when he put the bags on everybody's heads. The fact that they wouldn't let him dye his hair blonde. The fact that he didn't want to dye his hair blonde. Then all of a sudden he did want to dye his hair blonde. But when he left WWE, I remember the tweet that he sent out that basically had everybody in the professional wrestling world that he wanted to wrestle that didn't work for WWE. The list had Kenny Omega on it. The list had Okada. It had Dalton Castle. It had Jay Lethal. It had everybody that you like. It was just a smorgasbord, who's who of like Adam Cole, I think, was on the list, and unfortunately didn't get to wrestle him yet, and now won't because they kind of flip flopped, right? But Cody had accomplished every single thing that he said he wanted to do outside of WWE. He became the exact thing that he hated. He was an executive.
Yep.
He was the guy that made the rules and told people what to do. Suddenly his face was on 3 different programs on TNT.
Oh yeah.
Or TBS, but you know what I mean. So he became the Miz as an executive. So nobody wanted to see him in AEW anymore.
Yeah.
But when he went back to WWE, he went back to WWE as a man. He went back to WWE as now the number 2 man on the program. He is looked at as the number 2 babyface based on internal records on Monday Night Raw behind Bobby Lashley.
Wow.
Okay. Now, interestingly enough, number 3 on that list is AJ Styles.
Wow.
See, I probably would have flipped number 1 and number 3 around, but if I had to guess, Bobby Lashley is more of a Vince McMahon guy, based on looks and everything else. However, I find it really interesting that Bobby Lashley is the number 1 babyface, and yet he's going up against the slob. He's going up against the New Age Giant Gonzalez.
And MVP turned on him for him.
Now, I'm okay with that because MVP turning on Bobby Lashley means that Omos has
a mouthpiece,
which is what he needs.
Yes.
You know? And it works. But don't start at the top with him. Because if you and here's the problem I have with all this is that Finn Balor is also on Monday Night Raw. And just a little while ago, we were told he was going to be the number 2 babyface.
Until Cody showed up.
Well, before Cody showed up, Finn Balor was losing matches to Austin Theory, who now is just Theory. Now, the only reason why I'm okay with this dropping of the first name, I'm going to explain it. The only reason why I'm okay with this, Tino.
I think it's because of Stone Cold Steve Austin bit his ass, and he don't want any reminder of
and
Austin.
Vince McMahon said, "No more Austin."
Yep.
No more.
Yep. That's exactly what I thought.
But you know what? That's how they should have done it.
Yep.
They should have had Vince McMahon sitting there in that office, and Austin Theory wants to come in and have someone go, "Mr. McMahon, Austin wants to see you," and he'd be like, "No more Austin. No more." Like that would have been great.
That's exactly what I thought of when I saw that. That's why they dropped the Austin.
That is exactly why they did it, and I'm completely fine with it. Sean out there says, "I love Cody and he is passionate, but what really makes him stand out, if he didn't have family background, what would he be without it?" You know what he would be without it? He'd be a good hand.
He'd be a He'd be a stunning Steve Austin before he came Stone Cold, because that's what he said. Stunning Steve was a good hand.
You're right. And but Stunning Steve was a good hand because Stunning Steve didn't even know what he was.
Yep.
And they've never said that, by the way. But I bet if you were to ask Steve Austin himself, hey, Steve, were you really maximizing your potential as Stunning Steve Austin?
Oh, he'll tell you no.
I would think he would now. When he was doing it, he was like, son, I'm going to get the U.S. title, and I'm going to be on my way right to the top, and that's because I'm Stunning Steve Austin. Exactly.
And then you one of those.
Which, isn't it weird that now football players go,
yeah,
like they're eating it up, but yet he was like this like 30 years ago. Like all he had to do was bring it down, and he could have eaten it up. But I digress. I seriously do think though that Steve Austin thought he was on the right trajectory because no one gave him feedback about Stunning Steve Austin. It wasn't until he got fired by Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman sat there and said, "You can talk, kid."
I just want to say too. So they told Steve that nobody would ever pay to see or a guy in black trunks. Nobody come see him. You know who else they said that to? No. They said it to one Mark Calloway when they fired him from WCW. They said they just didn't see anything in him, and they didn't think he was going to be anything big. And he came to WWE, and The Undertaker was born. So,
but it wasn't. It was the WWE that said that black trunks wouldn't work for Steve Austin.
I thought he had it in WCW too. I thought Bischoff told him that too.
Well, you have to remember when he was part of the Hollywood Blondes, he was wearing like pink and all that other shit. Like Ezekiel. Which, by the way, did you see the Instagram post?
Yes, damn it. That's so stupid. It's so stupid, but it's so funny.
People will tell us that it's Photoshop, but we know.
I have to admit, I am getting a kick.
I hate
it out of Kevin Owens. It's like it's driving him crazy. Kevin Owens he's playing it well.
Kevin Owens is elevating him.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's a shitty gimmick.
Yes.
It's fucking Fandango, dude.
That probably won't last long.
It's fucking Fandango.
It's Fandango meets Rick Boogs old. It's just.
I like Rick Boogs.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when he gets him in the ring.
I'm disappointed Rick Boogs blew out his quad for real. Now
the old Triple H.
Now or Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
But the only good that comes out of that is that Shinsuke is being elevated, at least for a small program. Hey, Shinsuke Nakamura. Hey, let's remember.
He's going to get squashed. I agree. Shinsuke needs to get elevated. He's going to get squashed. We know he's not going to beat Roman for that belt. I don't even know why they put people. You know what I mean? Why? He's not going to win. So why waste our time? Waste your time? He's not going to win.
Who else is there?
They said true. And now Cody, but they're on two different shows.
What? They're not on two different shows.
Roman was he on Raw this week?
Not this week.
He sent the Usos. That's right.
But remember, he's the unified champion.
But weren't they also talking about making a special title? When we were talking about that for Raw. So Roman was pretty much going to stay because of Fox. He's going to stay on.
Well, there were rumors, but now all of a sudden, it looks like the Usos are going to end up winning the unified championships as well. And by the way, I'm okay with them unifying every fucking championship that they have that there's a double of right now. Now, I would keep the Intercontinental in the U.S. I would make them secondary belts, one per show. I'm okay with that.
So you think a title for the women's too?
Well, here's the thing. I think if they do that, they should create a secondary title for the women.
Bring the European title. I don't know. Bring something
like a TBS championship. I don't know if I call it the European championship or anything like that, but maybe
something like that. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that you actually would unify the Intercontinental and U.S. title, and then all of a sudden the women would have the other one.
I see what you're saying.
So you make the women have the United States Championship, which, by the way, Vince McMahon would probably be completely behind making the secondary women's championship the United States Championship because he didn't create that belt.
Huh?
Because he didn't create that belt.
And he'd probably give it to someone like Lacey Evans.
That'd be a good, or Asuka. You sit there and you put it on a heel Asuka going up against Lacey Evans.
Yes.
And by the way, last night, Sonya Deville comes out and says,
bullshit.
And total bullshit move, but I think it's going to lead to Asuka coming back.
Why?
Well, because she was sitting there saying, this person breaks barriers down. She does this. We've been waiting for her to come back and come after that championship since she disappeared a year ago. It's fucking Asuka.
What about it could be Alexa.
Bailey.
Or Bailey.
Well, she mentioned.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about Bailey. But don't you think Bailey would probably go to? I see her going back to SmackDown.
I don't know, man.
She drafted to Raw.
No, she was on SmackDown. Ding dong, hello.
No, I thought didn't she get drafted before while she was hurt? Remember they did the draft?
I don't think
she got drafted to Raw.
She may have. I don't think they're gonna care about that.
Mm.
She's been gone that long. But and I think she's still gonna come back as a heel because she's never been as good as she is as that Karen. Yeah, so I don't know.
Probably get that face pop when she first comes back, like they all do.
What was up with the Damian Priest all of a sudden having his match just randomly end with a blue light?
And then Evil, you know what, the light hit him like his eyes went black and he had that thing. I don't know why they did that.
I just don't know why that match ended. Like, why didn't AJ get a chance to finish the match?
Like you looked when they were interviewing AJ, how did his face get all straightened up and bloody like that? Did you see that?
Dude, his face was mangled.
So I don't know if they called it, if that's why they called it, if he was hurt.
Oh, maybe.
When Damian threw him out.
It could have been one of these.
Yeah, and they did the lights for that to end it like that.
No, that's actually a very good point, and I didn't even think about that.
And maybe he wasn't as hurt as they thought he was. Remember in that interview, he goes, "I wasn't done with him. Why'd they stop the match?" But they might have, because he threw him out pretty hard over that.
Well, and that's probably exactly it. They were probably like, "Okay, is he good? Maybe not." I don't know. So all right, Tino. Last thing I want to talk about Monday Night Raw. We already talked about the Usos. They ended up beating the Street Profits. Arcade Bro ended up beating Shush, please. Shush.
That's starting to grow on me. That's
Dude,
I hate it.
I'm buying that shirt.
Annoyed.
I am buying that fucking shirt.
And thank you.
Thank you.
It's starting to grow on me. It's so annoying.
After all the bad fucking gimmicks they have given Chad Gable. Shorty G. The fact that, when American Alpha fell apart, he had nothing. They finally put him with Otis. Everybody's sitting there going, why did they cut Otis's hair? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Shoosh. Thank you.
I think
4.0.
I'm thinking they let him go a little bit and say, hey, and let him try stuff to see what sticks. Because I think he came up with that stuff.
I'm not doubting it, and I'm glad.
Yes,
but
they need to let them sometimes not be so scripted.
So there's one other thing I want to talk about Monday Night Raw. We finally have a Tommaso Ciampa sighting since leaving NXT,
and he was agreeing that was Ezekiel. And I don't like this. He goes, no, you heard him. That's Ezekiel. He's Elias's brother.
Which means that's going to lead to Tommaso Ciampa versus Kevin Owens.
Love it. I'm not mad at it.
That's it. Just sign me up. I'm driving. I'm driving to the show. Like, I want to be there. But on top of that, he got to keep his fucking name. Yeah. He didn't come out as champion tomato or whatever, like
I still wish they'd have let him keep his original music. I love that music. That was Champa. That was, you knew shit was about. It's kind of like the glass break. Shit's about to go. We get a do 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 do.
I wonder though if it's actually WWE owned music now.
No.
Because it's one of those things. Oh, you know what happens on Rampage this Friday night? A Texas death match between Adam Cole and Adam Page for the world title.
Yep.
Now, I want to go back to Tommaso Ciampa because I should never interrupt talking about Tommaso Ciampa. And those that don't know, my buddy Tom Nguyen actually designs all of his gear. Professional comic book artist Tom Nguyen, by the way. Super cool guy. He actually drew Artie back in the day for me. So I love the idea of Tommaso Ciampa versus Kevin Owens. And it makes me wonder, Tino, if with all the guys that have been leaving under their own accord, leaving WWE, if Tommaso Ciampa's contract wasn't up recently and actually they asked him, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually getting put in a decent position. I'm not saying he's got creative control because you're not going to get creative control in WWE, but you can negotiate for specific things and things like being Tommaso Ciampa versus just being Ciampa, which, by the way, if he was just Ciampa, I'm okay with that.
I'm still with that. Yeah, still his name.
But being able to be the guy that he is and be the character that he is and making the transition directly from NXT over to the main roster, I'm completely fine with. And now he's actually okay with doing the travel because, he's had multiple surgeries. He's had neck surgery that kept him out for an extended period of time. He knows that his bump card is shortened, like he knows he doesn't have a lot of time left. So I wonder if he's one of those guys that they probably gave a lot of money to just recently to re-sign his contract, probably also to sit there and try to talk Johnny Gargano into coming back.
Staying, yeah. Or yeah.
Because
is Gargano a free? Is he not under contract anymore? Is he a free agent?
Candice LeRae may be under contract because she was pregnant and had to stop wrestling.
Yeah.
Johnny Gargano is not under contract. And they did have their baby, by the way.
I know. I saw it. It's cute.
Super cute. And I don't like kids, so.
You know me. I like kids. I like the kids, and I love babies.
I like giving them back. It's like, oh, look at how cute you are. Okay.
Nicole calls me a baby Hulk because I'm the one that's like, oh, I'll hold him. I got him.
And then it's, they pooped here.
No.
Yeah, one of the things that I won't even say I'm proud of, Tino, is that I know how to change a diaper. So, but anyway. So, how long before Tommaso Ciampa is in the main event at Monday Night Raw? I'm kidding. It's probably never going to happen, unfortunately. What are you laughing at?
I think Ciampa will. I think Vince will push him.
Well, it depends. I mean, like, if he's pushing him against Kevin Owens, you're basically saying that he is going in a main event because Kevin Owens main event in fucking WrestleMania.
Yep.
And in a match at WrestleMania.
And against a fucking icon.
Dude, the more I think about it, the more I think that match should have finished night 2.
Yes.
Like, I would have moved Brock and Roman to night 1. I would have moved the 2 women's title matches to night 2. And I almost would have flip-flopped the cards entirely.
Yes.
Like, at this point, I think watching night 1 before watching night 2, you get a better experience from WrestleMania.
So having said that, would you still have Stone Cold come out at the end of that Pat McAfee and Austin Theory match? Still have him for 2 nights?
Oh, if I've got it,
because you said early in the show that you figured they did that because night 2 shit the bed. So would they, if they'd have done night 1 first? Do you think we would?
I see what you're doing here.
Sightings?
I see what you're doing here. Now, this is how I would have done it. yes, I still would have done it. And I would have had him cut a promo on Kevin Owens.
And night one.
Yes.
Okay.
To allow him to set up for the, because they could have done away with the talk show segment. Like Kevin Owens could have come out and been like, I was going to have a great talk show with Stone Cold Steve Austin, but shit, screw that. Bring him out here. Let's have a match.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Obviously, I would have still had Stone Cold come down and be like, and have Owens go, I was just going to have a nice conversation with you, Steve. But now, because you insulted me all last night here in the shitty state of Texas, and obviously you got to be PG, so it'd be the
crappy
state of Texas, because even Steve Austin, he was going to say, God damn, the one time, and he stopped and he's like, get us a god referee.
Yeah.
So okay, you said you were going to talk about something that happens on NXT tonight. And this is, I think, what we're going to close our show with, because I got nothing else.
Me neither.
So what do you got?
There's Barrett. As we're about to close up shop.
Yeah, Chris Barrett's really late tonight. Chris Barrett, Thursday next week, not Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll do that in. They're having a 5-team tournament to crown new NXT Tag Team Champions. Because
what did I say last week?
But it wasn't for what we thought it was for. We thought it was for the abuse. No, this motherfucker posed like Hitler and put it on social media.
Now, they say that, except they were going to name Gunther after a Nazi, and they were going to name Ludwig after a Nazi.
Yeah.
Funny how that works. So, let's be real. It's because he beat his wife. And there are pictures.
Who I did not know is Kimberly at Impact Wrestling.
Uh-huh. So just think about that. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm also okay now that Braun Strowman is the NXT champion and got a clean victory over Gunther. Gunther, Raquel Gonzalez, and Lacey Evans all showing up on SmackDown on the same night was kind of a big deal, I think. Gunther looked, dude. They gotta put him in either a team with Sheamus, or they've got to put him in a feud with Sheamus, where those two just pound the shit out of each other.
Who?
Gunther. And what's up with Pete Dunne having short man syndrome all of a sudden?
Oh my God.
Like, I literally thought he was going to stop, like he was going to slap people around and grab a microphone and say, "Stop calling me Butch, bitch."
And you see that they slipped and called him because who was it? He was like, they called him Pete because he's like, yeah, I knew him back and da-da-da. And Pete, but then Butch.
Well, they said his nickname's Butch the very first time, so they got it, so they can get away with that. But I'm glad he's not wearing Mae Young and Moolah's outfits anymore. But they need to take off those skinny pants.
And that fucking hat and suspenders. They just need, I don't know. They need to do something.
They need to stop making him look like a fucking newsie.
Yes.
All right. Tino, I'm ready to go home.
Well, who do you think's going to win? Who's
What?
going to be the new title?
For the tag teams? They'll probably put two people together and they'll win them.
No. So in this match, they've got the who do they have? They've got
No Imperium.
So it's the
Grizzled Young Veterans.
It's the Creeds. It's the that new team that came out and attacked the Creeds from NXT UK. I think they're going to put it on the Creeds. I'm just not even going to name everybody.
There's 3 other groups, and you don't even want to tell me who they are.
I can't remember. Hold on. Let me see. Let me give me.
Legado del Fantasma?
Yes.
I would like it on them. Chris Barrett just said the New Day.
Shut up.
Hey, you were the one that called them jobbers earlier.
No, I said that they would get jobbed.
Yeah, so they were jobbers.
412. Was it 412?
Because you know what the Young Bucks name in WWE would be? The New Hardys.
I'm not talking to you.
Chris Barrett, you're with me, right?
Don't encourage him. Dakota Kai.
Yeah, Dakota Kai could win those men's tag team championships.
Okay, here it is. The Creed brothers, Pretty Deadly. They're the ones from NXT UK.
Right.
Otto del Fantasma, Briggs and Jensen, and Grayson Waller and Sanga.
The first two teams are the only two that really have a chance. Maybe Legado del Fantasma.
So the Creed brothers are pretty deadly.
Yeah, and I would probably say that
I don't know. Briggs and Jensen might surprise
is
you.
it a tournament
Yes.
with 5 teams?
It's a gauntlet match for the vacant NXT Tag Team Championship.
How do you do a fucking gauntlet match?
The gauntlet one was the Creed brothers against Legado del Fantasma. The second one was Brooks and Jensen.
They just sound like a bad band.
Oh shit! They it went to the gauntlet. So when I went down, whoever won that first one took on the second team.
Yeah. That's the way it always is.
So, but then it's going to tell you. But it's going to tell you the winners. If I read all this out, you'll know who won. If for some people,
I don't want to know then.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
I stopped it right there. So
the Young Bucks would be called the Young Jobbers. No, they wouldn't be the Young Jobbers.
That'd be the Fat Hardy Boys. Is that what you called them?
No, that was 2.0.
Oh,
and that was the Fat
you
Young
called
Bucks.
them the Fat Young Bucks. And yeah.
So the Young Bucks would be the Skinny Hardys.
Shut up. Anyway, that's all I got. So for Chris Barrett, we're not going to be here next Tuesday. We're going to be here next Thursday because I will be at the Elton John concert in Greensboro at the Greensboro Coliseum next Tuesday. So we're going to do a next Thursday.
Hold me closer, Tony Danza.
Billy and the Jets.
Cause I'm a rocket man.
Rocket Man.
Burning on the
Yeah, that's how I sing it too. I don't know the words. I was hoping you did.
I actually do know the words, but that's
my version.
That's still how I sing it. Rocket Man, and I actually prefer the William Shatner version of Rocket Man.
Yeah.
So Tino, my Instagram now, I want to go ahead and explain this, is now Rob Potsy Pochak, the same.
Until he gets hacked again.
No. I have Google Authenticator on mine now, where you have only 30 seconds to put in the code before it changes to a new code.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm like a fucking bank vault now. But I'll go ahead and explain. Rob Potsy Pochak, if you haven't followed it. If you are following the old one, Rob Pochak, block it, report it. Tell Facebook they can go fuck off with a 1-star review on Instagram. So god dang tired of it, Tino.
Yeah.
I even watched and didn't drop a GD there for you.
I appreciate that.
Anyways.
All right.
Please.
So, as always, folks. Well, I don't even know. Tell them your new Instagram because I don't even want to. So what'd you say it was again? I don't want to mess it up.
Same thing as my TikTok. Rob Potsy Pochak.
Rob Potsy Pochak. So that's him on the TikTok. That's him on the Insta. Me on the Insta is SC Tino. On the Twitter machine, he is Rob Pochak. No, he's at Pochak. I'm sorry. I'm Hootie Fan 91. We are Potsy and Tino. On Facebook, we're the Potsy and Tino Show. You can catch us each and every week right here on the YouTube channel under the Pots and Pans Networks. We want to please click like and subscribe.
Buy our
shit. As always, we want to. You knew I was going to say it. As always, we want to say thank you to
Adam's House Cat.
There you go for our theme song, which is the wrestling song. You can get it for 99 cents, 99. And as always, folks, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir.
Woo!
Woo! Thank you. And he thought I was going to say woo, but I didn't. Ha ha. Oh, yeah. Dig it.
Good night, everybody.
It hurts when I do that, by the way.
It hurts everybody when they do that, dude.
Ow. It hurts right here. How long have you did it for so long?